This project broke me. For a bit of prerequisite knowledge, this is T-Max film. One of the most controversial films of all time. Some say it's the sharpest black and white film stock ever produced, whilst others say it's an affront to film and blows out the highlights and crushes the shadows, and is just generally way too sharp. This is 110 film. It's a miniature film stock introduced by Kodak in the 70s, and it's loved because it's super grainy and lo-fi, because it's quarter of the area of 35mm film. Only one film producer produces it today, and that company is the indie film giant Lomography. So, naturally, I wanted to load a 110 camera with T-Max film. I started this project with a device that will cut 120 film into 16mm film, or 110 film. Accidentally cut myself twice in the process, ruined multiple rolls of film, had to buy a new camera, and after all of that, I only managed to cut half a roll of 120 film into 110 format. And I had yet to shoot the film, home develop it, and compare it to Lomography's black and white film for 110 cameras. So, let's have a look. Both film stocks were developed with ID11 according to the manufacturer's development times. So the first thing that stood out were discrepancies within the same photos. On paper, T-Max film should have more resolving power and a finer grain. The grain is much finer, but the resolution is almost indistinguishable from the Lomography film. Some areas it's fuzzy, and some areas are sharper. If we look at the plate in the window, the text is much sharper with the T-Max film. But looking at the alarm on the wall, the text is actually less sharp. Both images were shot on Pentax Auto 110 cameras with the same type of lens mounted to each camera. Here are some potential explanations. There will likely be slight variations in the lenses because they're old, but both were clean before shooting. The lesser dynamic range of the T-Max film makes it soft when there are similar intensities of light. The T-Max film doesn't have backing paper because I spooled it myself, which might mean the film is looser and doesn't sit flush against the back of the cassette. The conventional grain in the Lomography film might act as a sharpening tool because it's more texture in areas of minimal contrast. The overall process wasn't too difficult. Also, you can get 3 cassettes of 110 from one roll of 120 film. Each cassette of T-Max costs approximately £3.17, whereas the Lomo 110 cost me £10. I bought the film from Analogue Wonderland. This isn't a sponsored video, but I really appreciate their low markup on their products, and the delivery's fast in the UK. Overall, it's nice to have options with 110 film, as Lomography currently have a monopoly. I will be experimenting with more film stocks in the future, so drop a comment with what you'd like to see in 110 format. I think experimenting with colour T-grain stocks such as Portra would be fun, and maybe experimenting with other developers such as Microfen. Going into the future, I'm definitely going to be shooting T-Max 110 film.